Assad gave a chilling warning when Charlie asked what kind of retaliation American interests could face if the U.S. launches a strike.
Will there be attacks against American bases in the Middle East if there's an airstrike?
You should expect everything. You should expect everything.
Well, there you have it. If there was ever any clearer need for the US to attack Syria, then we haven't seen it. Because I know that the US versus Syria is the geopolitical equivalent of King Kong fighting a dwarf with both its hands tied behind its back. But how dare Syrian President Bashar al-Assad tell Bilderberg member Charlie Rose that he will fight back, that he will respond in any way to Obama's humanitarian love bombs. He should thank Obama for every single bomb that falls on Damascus and beg for more. I'm still shocked that Assad was so ungrateful for the two separate Israeli attacks, airstrikes on Syria over the past few months. I mean, we should have invaded back then. He showed no appreciation, no thank you whatsoever to Benjamin Netanyahu for Israel bombing Syria. And likewise, no expression of gratitude to Saudi Arabia for funding, training, arming the rebels, sending them in to destroy Syria, of course with the aid of the CIA, the United States, Jordan and Qatar. No thank you whatsoever for the Al-Qaeda-led rebels that are now joyfully, ethnically cleansing Syria of Christians and all other non-jihadists. In the name of freedom, Assad expresses no gratitude whatsoever for this precious, precious gift. And he even dares, 2 days before the 12th anniversary, to invoke the horrific attacks of 9/11, saying that to expect everything would include another 9/11 style attack if the United States attacks Syria. That would almost be as offensive as if on the 12th anniversary of 9/11 the United States was actually fighting in a war on the same side as Al-Qaeda, effectively acting as Al-Qaeda's air force. And of course we all know that that premise is a total conspiracy theory. But in all his graciousness and reasonableness, as the United States has over half a dozen warships lined up off the coast of Syria, Secretary of State John Kerry has provided Assad with a final opportunity to hand over all his chemical weapons within a week in order to stop the US attack. And of course, as any reasonable person will understand, if Syria does give up its chemical weapons, it can be assured that it will be then safe from a US-led attack, just like Libya. And on the subject of chemical weapons, for those who, for the Assad loyalists who try to claim, oh, well, the US uses chemical weapons, they used white phosphorus in Iraq, and of course they used depleted uranium in Serbia, and of course the Jew-hating anti-Semites that claim Israel also uses chemical weapons because it used white phosphorus in civilian areas of Gaza. Well, your argument's been debunked because white phosphorus and depleted uranium are not chemical weapons. As you can see from these images of depleted uranium victims, the offspring, they're perfectly healthy children. There's nothing wrong with them. Here's another perfectly healthy child. There's another perfectly healthy child. I mean, if anything, depleted uranium is nutritious. Here's another victim of depleted uranium. Again, as you can see, nothing wrong with him. Perfectly nutritious, and it's not a chemical weapon. All these so-called depleted uranium victims, again, nothing wrong with them. They should stop complaining. The US and Israel do not use chemical weapons. Let's get that straight. Here's a victim of white phosphorus. Again, perfectly safe weapon to use. Not a chemical weapon. Stop complaining. So, those who make the argument, well, if Assad gives up his chemical weapons, then so should the US and Israel. Your argument has been debunked because, as we've just seen from those photographs of completely healthy children, the US and Israel does not possess, does not use chemical weapons. So, in conclusion, the fact that Assad has dared to say he will defend Syria against Obama's humanitarian love bombs and not get down on his knees and thank Obama and beg him for more bombs to fall, and the fact that Assad is likely to reject US demands for him to hand over his chemical weapons, again reminds us just how much of a dangerous dictator President Bashar al-Assad is, and why we all must get behind immediate military action, a humanitarian love bomb attack on Syria. This is Paul Joseph Watson reporting for Infowars.com.